Hey Bees, nice to see you here, sir.
Hey, great to see you down here. How coincidental is it that we're both here at the same time?
I mean, well, not really, look at the day.
There's one thing that's missing here, bro.
Well, I don't understand where everyone is. Well, actually I do. I mean, there's something going on with this river at the moment. B, you know what it is, what is going on?
What it is, what it do. So we're at Whakatiki River. Usually at this time of the day, this place will be packed out with kids swimming here.
It's hot, right? It's hot at the moment.
Stinking hot.
28 degrees,
you can
something
see
like
I'm
this.
getting, like, when we first got here, we were the same colour. And I've been here 10 minutes and what the hell?
Yeah, and I want to dive in there, but I cannot because there is an algal bloom. The whole river, right up to Kaitoki, from here down to Petone, has developed an algal bloom.
Which basically makes the river unswimmable. Animals can't go in it if they ingest.
Dogs die
the
if
algae,
they touch
they die in half an hour.
Yeah, and it's very poisonous for humans too, so they've just told everyone, no, it's no go. Now, and when I heard this news, it would have been 6 weeks ago, geez, it was stinking hot there, and it's been stinking hot and dry for ages. But when I heard the news 6 weeks ago, I sort of thought, this is almost criminal. I mean, if I was a 12-year-old kid, and I was told that I wasn't allowed to swim in here, so man, when I was 12, we used to spend 50 hours a week without, that's being conservative down here. We used to sleep down here, we lived and ate and breathed and sort of kissed girls and all sorts of crazy stuff down here.
Crazy
all
stuff.
the time. There's some history down here, eh, B? Man.
We used to hang out down there. That's called, back in the day it was called Wakamuni. Wakamuni.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
why is it called Wakamuni, you know, eh?
I have no idea.
This is Whakatiki, and that down there further is moonshine. Mix it together,
Hell no. Is that
yeah,
why?
I think so.
What?
Yeah, maybe we could take some photos down there later.
Yeah.
It's beautiful down there too.
So right here is, I used to come here with my homeboy DLT back in the day, and everyone used to jump off that top point up there, up on the rocks there.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, all the time, man. I learned how to dive from there. Man, I learned how to light a fire with nothing. That's it. I learned my bush skills down here.
Yeah, girls ain't got shit on us.
Yeah, because we had like, you know, after you'd, you know, smoked all your cigarettes, you probably had one match left, seriously, and then you had to find enough stuff with your one match to light a fire for the evening. That is true. That happened all the time.
We learnt how not to cook canned food. So
explosions.
Matt Porco, we were here, and we're down walking in there, and he goes, oh bro, look, I'm hungry, and he puts his can on and didn't open it. Spaghetti. Boom! Yeah, everywhere. I was like, oh, won't do that again.
Yeah, that's right. But you learnt things.
The fact that we can't swim here anymore is quite ludicrous, because you know we want our kids to grow up and experience the things that we did, but they can't. You aren't allowed. There's signs up over there saying you can't swim here. Yeah, that's utter bullshit.
Yeah, well, so I've talked to you about it a bit at AB's, but I rang up the Wellington Regional Council. I wanted to find out what the deal is. I mean,
and what did they say?
Well, I rang them up a few times. It was took a few calls to get through to a person that actually seemed to talk sense, but when I did, he was really good, and he talked a lot. We talked for a good 40-50 minutes, and I jotted down notes and things, and you know, there's a lot of stuff. As you can imagine, it's a little bit complicated, but it boils down to a few things. First thing, this river isn't polluted. This algae isn't here because of pollution. This river's clean, which I was pleased to hear about. I thought it might be nitrogen causing all this, and I'm sure lots of people think that's the truth, but essentially the algae starts in these conditions: slightly warm water and steady flowing water.
Then how come it wasn't around when we were swimming here? You know, back in the 80s, it was the same conditions. Yeah, well, it was just as hot.
Well, Regional Council don't believe that this is the case. When I talk to them, they say, well, we've heard lots of stories from lots of people that there was algal blooms in the 80s, but I can't see that there's anyone out there more of an expert than me, because I lived here and I can't remember any slime or algae in the swimming holes ever. Full stop. We were here all the time. Yeah. Eh? Well, what I was trying to nut out was this. I was trying to nut out if there's any possible man-made influences that may contribute to algal bloom, thus not allowing children to swim in this jewel. This is the important thing for me. So I just asked them a few questions. First of all, so you've got those reservoirs north of here in Kaitoki. Do these take any water out of the river during spring and summer? The answer is yes, they do. If the river runs at a certain speed, at 600 litres per second at Kaitoki, they take water out. It has to be running at, I think, 1,200 or 1,300 litres per second at Birchville, maybe 2 kilometres north of here. If it's less than that, they're not allowed to take water out. But if it's above that, they do take water out of the river. Now,
any time of the year, or is that just in summer?
That's any time of the year. But my argument is, if algae likes a steady flow, if we're taking water out of the river at a certain speed, does this not contribute to a steady flow? I reckon it probably does. Now, my next point from that is like, why don't we just store the water when it's raining, like winter? Because it was quite wet this winter, eh, B?
Well, we're not scientists or rocket scientists at all, but I think logically thinking...
Yeah. Did it rain in winter?
Yeah, of course. It pissed down as Wellington. It rains all the time here in Upper Hutt.
It rained enough water to feed the universe. Now, let's build a big reservoir and store that water so we don't have to pilfer from the river in spring and summer. That's what I think.
You mean like build a bigger reservoir?
Yeah.
Come on, no, that's crazy talk, bro. Yeah. That's too easy.
Perhaps get rid of the guilt factor. Perhaps you're allowed to water your garden. Perhaps you're allowed to not feel guilty about washing your car. Why is that not a given right for a Kiwi when it rains so hard all winter? And then perhaps if you don't steal water from the river during the spring and summer, perhaps we've got a chance of the river being doing its natural thing, and perhaps there's be less chance of algae. It's pretty simple.
What do we know?
But what do we know? It's pretty. It strikes me as simple, but I am a simple chap, and I may not know the answers.
Simple men, not simpletons. Simple men.
There's another thing too, B.
What?
There's a lot of there's a few things. The council have a few pressures not to build reservoirs and dams, and that is trout have a lot of rights.
What?
Trouts.
Oh, the native trout.
No, yeah, the native trout. Do
we have native trout?
We don't have native trout, but there's trout in here, and 4 people fish in it for them. They've never caught one. But there's a lot of...
they're quite elusive
then. They're elusive because the upshot is, trout have a lot of power to stop dams because they will lose their run. You know, that's fair enough, but I'm just wondering what the priorities are here. Kids swimming through summer when there's, a lot of kids don't have money. This is where they go.
And us having water throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Kids swimming against
what do you reckon?
Non-native trout.
What do you reckon?
I reckon fuck the trout and
let's have some swimming again, or at least the chance of it possibly happening again.
That's
this
crazy
again.
Man.
Seriously, this global warming business, it might be really affecting this river. That's a bigger issue. But if there's any possibility of stopping man influence, I'm there. But there's also one other thing they do, because another pressure the council have is to stop flooding. Fair call, very fair call. But how they do it is, well, there's no but, because I'm no expert, but they grade the river, they make it flat, they make all the riverbed flat. And
you see the big dozers and the big diggers,
the graders and stuff, they're cruising along, making everything like a big flat paddock.
But realistically speaking, when it pisses down and there's a huge raging torrent of water coming down this river, no amount of grading is going to do anything, man. The river's going to do what the river's going to do.
The river will instantly throw that grading up and do its own thing. So in the grading, and again, so another part of the grading situation, in my view, no expert of course, is that grading seems to me likely culprit for making a steady flow in the river, which is the environment in which the algae likes
The river
bloom.
existed before the grading happened, and the river still flowed, so I guess it's going to grow if they grade it or not. So this is the first of many videos. Obviously you can see, well, my man here is very passionate about this river, and so am I. Te Awakairangi. We'll be doing a host of videos, and we'll see what sort of a presence and movement we can create,
Yeah, well, like you say, Te Awakairangi at the Hutt River for me is it's my place of peace. It's where I come often, and it's where the kids should be able to swim. And in my view, it's mightily important to try and give it its best chance possible.
That's us. We'll be back.